section 1 of this trend checklist, so which is actually this one. Alright, so we're gonna focus on this part today, the Kumo, angle, length, and thickness. Alright, yesterday I was talking about Senko span B, which was actually the second step of this to capture the trend, but I will talk about this part, the angle, length, and thickness of the Kumo itself, and how you can actually identify whether the Kumo is long enough or thick enough, and also the angle is, steep enough or not. And I will tell you the reason behind why these three information are important when you look at the Kumo structure. So I will just take this one, GBP JPY, as an example and show you exactly what I'm talking about. So basically, when you look at the Kumo, you can take any time frames, like you can take daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, or you can take 1 hour or 30 or 15 or 5. So because the market is fractal, so whichever time frames you look at, this actually applies to any time frames, first of all. So, and I just pick up this one, right? This is a pair GBP JPY 1 hour chart, because I think this is the great example to actually capture exactly what I want to say about Kumo today. So I said first, right, the first part that's very important and you have to look at whenever you try to capture a trend is the angle of the Kumo. The angle of the Kumo, right? So let's look at the Kumo right now, right? And so let me take a vote, right? Let me take a vote. And right now, this is a Kumo. This light gray is a Kumo. And right now, do you think this is moving up or down or horizontal? What is your call? Let me hear your comments and answers before I talk about any further. So if you look at the Kumo right now, as of now, on this GBP JPY 1 hour chart, is this moving up or down or horizontal? And what is your answer? All right, so let me hear your answers, and in the meantime, let me see your comments. Oh, by the way, I really appreciate your comments because you have been very, very polite and humble in the way you typed your comments. So I really appreciate your protecting the manner. It's really appreciated. So I just wanted to say thank you everyone for being very polite and humble here. All right. Good to see you everyone. Good to see you. All right. So range, horizontal range, flat, horizontal up, horizontal up, horizontal flat, horizontal flat, tweet up. All right. Senko span B is flat. All right. So looks like we've got two answers basically. So flat, either flat, horizontal, or up, right? So which one is it? Is the question. And to me, this is flat, right? If I tell the answer, this is flat to me. This is flat because the Kumo itself is not really moving down, right? The Senko span B has been flat, and the Senko span A is retracing backwards. So when you look at the down Kumo, the upper part is called the Senko span B, and the lower part is called the Senko span A, right? So as you can see right now, the Senko span B is flat, and the Senko span A retracing backwards. So visually speaking, this is flat, right? And what I mean by down Kumo, right? What I mean by down Kumo is actually like these parts, right? Where Senko span B and A are all together going down. So this was the beginning of the Kumo, and this was moving down too. And this part was moving down too, right? Senko span B was going down this way, and Senko span A continuously went downwards. And this one too, right? Senko span B was going down, and Senko span A was also going down, right? So unless you see Senko span A retracement backwards, right? Even if this Senko span B is flat, I can say that this is down Kumo. So, but right now what you can see is that Senko span A is retracing backwards, right? It's not going flat or it's not going down. Senko span A is not really going down, right? Senko span A is flat, or Senko span A is retracing, while Senko span B is flat. So in that sense, right, this is flat Kumo. This is flat Kumo. Okay. So again, whenever you see Senko span B is flat, right, you better look at the Senko span A angle too. And when Senko span A is still going down, you can say that this is down Kumo still. But right now, Senko span A is not really going down, but it's retracing backwards towards Senko span B. So this is when you see the flat Kumo. And this is what I mean by flat, by the Kumo. Is it clear so far? So far, so good. So, as you can see, if you follow this case trading strategy, right, first, you look at the angle of the Kumo, and when you see the angle is not really going down or up, basically that's not really the uptrend or downtrend. So yeah, and this is very important. So whenever you look at the Kumo, right, in bigger time frames, so I recommend you to start looking at the charts from bigger time frames like daily or 4-hour chart. But yeah, whenever you look at the bigger time frame Kumo, and when you see the Kumo is flat, that means that the market is not really on the trend. Okay, that actually is the range where there is no direction within the market. So as you can see right now, right, the price was going down. So that's why I said that GBP JPY was going down in 4-hour chart. But now what's happening is that because of the weak JPY and strong GBP, the price is going up, right? And it's almost breaking the Kumo upwards to this way. So yeah, and so right now we can say that the Kumo is flat, right? This is flat Kumo. First of all, there's no angle to that Kumo. Okay, so that's one thing, right? So that's one thing. So are you clear about the angle of the Kumo now? All right. So yep. Oh, is there any problem with the connection now? Is it delaying or my voice is choppy sometimes? I hope it doesn't disconnect today. Yeah, I hope not. Okay, so let's move on to the next topic before it gets unstable, right? Sometimes, or like recently, YouTube live streams unstable. So sorry about the issues, everyone. But hopefully, I can keep streaming stably. All right. So the angle is covered now, right? The angle is covered now. So let's talk about the length of the Kumo. Okay, the length of the Kumo is also very important when you try to capture the stable trend or not. All right, so the length of the Kumo, right? Right now, if you look at this Kumo, right? If you look at this Kumo right now, sloping downwards, do you think this is long enough or this is too short? What is it called? Is this a long Kumo, long bearish Kumo, or short bearish Kumo? What do you think? So this is bearish Kumo, right? In my setting, the light gray is bearish and dark gray is the bullish Kumo. But yeah, if you look at the Kumo right now, is this long enough or is this short? Let me hear your answers here. All right. And this is another important factor when you look at the Kumo. So we're talking about like a visual things here, right? We're not really talking about the calculations or like numbers behind things like that, but we can kind of I'm trying to teach how to visually recognize a Kumo, because I think this is a great start point to look at the market based on the Ichimoku. So all right. No issues. Okay, no issues. That's good. No delays. No like choppy voices. That's good. All right. So long one, long, too long. All right. That's long Kumo. Long. All right. Long bearish Kumo. Right. Long Kumo. Exactly. Long. All right. 1964 says long. All right. Yeah. So basically, this is long, right? The Kumo itself is pretty long. So this is the stable bearish Kumo to me, right? So that means that this is, right, we met this criteria, right? The length is okay, right? The length is long enough, so it was okay. So let's look at the thickness of the Kumo. Right, so thickness of the Kumo is another important part whenever you try to capture the stable trend. Okay, so let's look at the thickness of the Kumo as of now. So what about the thickness of the Kumo? Is this thick enough or is this thin? Which one is your call? As you can look at the Kumo right now, is this thin or is it thick? Or neither one of these? Which one is your call? So just, just look at the Kumo visually and see if this is thick or thin or, neither. And let me hear your answers here now. All right, long. Okay, why long? Okay. Oh, long. It's long because ever since the Kumo has been twisted to bearish Kumo, right? It's been going down. So this is a long bearish Kumo, is what I mean. All right. And I will show you more and more examples later. So yeah, let's just take this one as an example for now, and let me explain how you can recognize the Kumo itself visually. Okay, so is it thick or thin is the next question. So this is thick, thin, all right, thin. The Kumo length is long, right? Right, thin, thick, thin enough, thick, okay. Normal Kumo, no excess, right? All right. Hi Talal, Talal, thank you for joining, all right. All right, combination of both, right? Thick, some places thick and some places thin, yeah. Some parts thick and some parts thin, yeah. Thin, thick, bearish, thick, okay. So we've got like a thick and thin. So yeah, so this is kind of tricky part actually. This is a little bit tricky, but right now it's getting thinner, right? It's getting thinner is the answer. So if you look at this part right here, this was thick, right? Thick before, pretty thick before, right? But now it's getting thinner and thinner. And what happens, right? What happens if it gets as thinnest as possible? What happens next? Can you answer to my question? So if the Kumo becomes as thin as possible, then what's gonna happen next to the Kumo? And this is why the thickness of the Kumo is very important. All right, thin, okay. Relative to larger time scale. That's true. So what happens if the Senko span A retraces backwards all the way to Senko span B? So Senko span A is the lower part, Senko span B is the upper part when the Kumo is bearish. But yeah, what happens to Kumo as it becomes as thin as possible? All right, yeah, Kumo twist, exactly. It's going to be bullish, right? Bullish Kumo twist, exactly, twist, exactly. Yeah, you're all right. Yep, exactly. So, yep, so it will make the Kumo twist, right? Eventually, so right now this is bearish Kumo. But if you look at the past chart, for example, like here, right? So the Senko span B was moving down, and Senko span A was moving down. But at some point, Senko span A will retrace backwards, just like Bollinger Bands, right? It squeeze, and it squeeze again. And when Senko span A gets closer and closer and touches on this Senko span B, it actually gold cross. Right, it actually gold cross, and now it becomes bullish Kumo. So Senko span B was the upper part, and Senko span A was the lower part of the Kumo. But when Kumo twists, actually it gold crosses, and now the lower part becomes Senko span B on bullish Kumo, and upper part becomes Senko span A on bullish Kumo. Is it clear so far? So because Senko span B is in longer term than A, That's why we can call this a gold cross of Senko span B and A. So that's when the longer term market momentum is switching, right? That's when longer term market momentum is switching to the upside, up Kumo. So we can potentially expect the bullish trend, or the market might consolidate for a while until we see the angle of the Kumo to the upside, right, next time. So we cannot call this Kumo twist as a trend change. We cannot do that. But we have to see afterwards what's going to happen, because sometimes after the Kumo twist, it goes horizontal sometimes. All right, and the market fluctuates, up and down like a whipsaw, and it consolidates for a while. So yeah, just by the Kumo twist itself, you cannot really call it a change of the trend. But we have to wait some more time until the Kumo formation, right? Until the decent Kumo formation, and if it goes upwards, then you can see that that's the uptrend. That's the beginning of the uptrend. So, in other words, I think you better put it this way: like when you see the Kumo twist, this is the end of the downtrend, right? When you see the down Kumo and when you see the twist of the Kumo, this is the end of the downtrend. But we don't know if this is going to be the uptrend or horizontal or not, right? Or it might be, right, very short, like a bullish Kumo, and twist it again to the bearish Kumo, and the trend continues to the bearish Kumo, to the downside, right? I've seen many patterns like this too, and that's why it's dangerous to conclude with this Kumo twist only to be like a confirmation of the uptrend, right? So at this Kumo twist, we can call it this like the end of the trend, right? The end of the trend in long term. So let's look at the market right now. So what's happening is that the Kumo Senko span B is flat, right, and Senko span A is retracing and getting closer and closer to the Senko span B. So what we can expect here is that the Kumo will twist, right? Kumo will twist to the bullish Kumo, and it might continue to go up, right? In that case, the price will go upwards this way, or it becomes flat, right? Which we never know. So yeah. So what was the topic? So we were talking about the thickness of the Kumo, right? So coming back to the topic about the thickness of the Kumo, why thickness is important is, again, when you see the Kumo to be getting thinner, that's possibly when the trend changes, right? That's when possibly the downtrend is ending, right? Possibly. So when you see the down Kumo, right, angle is down, and also the thickness thick enough, and Senko span B and A are going down, right? When you see this kind of formation in Kumo, no matter what, this is downtrend, right? But when you start to see the thin Kumo, that's when market consolidates, and that's when market is retracing backwards. So that's why we have to be careful whenever we see the thin part of the Kumo, right? Whenever we see the thick part of the Kumo, that's a stable downtrend. Whenever you see this is thick, right, it's the downtrend. Right, we have to be careful whenever the Kumo gets thinner, because when it gets thinner, right, that's when the Kumo, the price is retracing backwards to this way. All right, so right now what's happening is that the Kumo is getting thinner and thinner, right? It's not getting thicker and thicker, right? It's getting thinner and thinner because Senko span A is retracing. Senko span A is retracing while Senko span B is flat. So it shows the market retracement to the upside right now, and this is not a great timing to take off sell, right? We better look for the Kumo to be moving down like this way, right, while the Kumo is thick enough and going down. So this is the first primary condition to be able to confirm the trend whenever you look at the market in the Kumo, right? So this is visual, And so yeah, so Kumo is very powerful visually too, as you can see, right? I don't really talk about any like period or like 52 number or shifting like 26 forward or not, right? I don't really talk about that. I only talk about like visual information of Kumo, but this is already very powerful to capture a decent trend up or downwards. All right, is it okay so far? So far so good here, everyone? So yeah, and that's why this is going to be the first primary information that you have to focus on whenever you want to follow the trend. Because when you don't see one of these, right? If you don't see one of these, like features in the Kumo, most likely that there's no trend in the market. All right. So with that being said, let me take a look at these three pairs that's likely changing the trend direction since yesterday. So when you look at these pairs, well, actually these are the pairs that I usually look at, and I usually take trades on these pairs. But whenever you see on these red colors, right, these are the pairs that's changing in its direction, in its trend direction since my previous live, right? So whenever you come to this my YouTube live streams almost like every day, and when you see this, one of these currency pairs to be turning red, that means that the trend is changing or the situation is changing on these pairs. So if you are joining late, or if you're joining early, or if you're looking at the archives right after this public live, you will instantly know what's changing in the market in its direction by Ichimoku. So I turned GBP/USD to be red and GBP/JPY to be red, and also gold to be red too, because these are the three pairs or two pairs in one commodity that I noticed that this is now changing its trend. So let's take a look at the GBP/USD first, right? And it's changing from yesterday's forecast. So GBP/USD 4-hour chart, right? Yesterday I said that it was downtrend. It was downtrend because I saw that the Kumo was moving down, and Senko Span B was moving down, and Senko Span A was moving down, and also Kijun Sen was moving down too. So that's why I said it was downtrend in 4-hour chart, right? This is a 4-hour chart, and it was downtrend, and that was because I saw that the Kumo, I was looking at the Kumo, and the Kumo was not only going down, right, after it twisted, right, it never twisted again, but it was going down. It was stable bearish, right? So if you can recall, right, the angle was going down, and and also the length was long enough, right? The length was long enough on this Kumo, right? It's long enough, right? And also the thickness is it's not really thick enough, but this was decent downtrend. So identify this one as a down Kumo, right? It's a stable downtrend, down Kumo here. And that's why I said yesterday it was 4-hour chart was moving down yesterday. But now if you look at it, right, as soon as you look at the Kumo, you can notice that now Senko Span B is flat and Senko Span A is also flat, right? And this is when you see the market consolidate, right? Consolidating. So, right, that means that the market is stopped in its trend. And as you can see, right now the price is retracing. So this downtrend is now stopped temporarily. And that's why we have to stop, right, trading, because there's no trend in the market right now, right? So we better wait for the Senko Span A to be moving downwards next time, right? And also Kijun Sen to move downwards next time, which I will talk about on my future lives, right? Kijun Sen angle is very important to capture the trend too, and that's why I include the Kijun Sen on this PDF, right? Kijun Sen angle is also important too, but yeah. So So we better wait until Senko span A moving down, Kijun Sen moving down to start to look for the next setting edges. But right now, this is flat range, so we better stay away from the market, basically. Alright, is it clear so far? Alright. So I think, yeah, again, this is a little bit of a recap of what I have been saying in my previous lives, but because I see a lot of new joiners here on my YouTube, I think that, you know, this is a great timing to, you know, recap on what I was saying in terms of the trend. So people tend to talk about the trading edges, like trading strategies, where to buy, where to sell, but to me, capturing a trend is more important, because if you can capture a trend, what's gonna happen is whenever you sell, right? Whenever you sell in a downtrend, you can still run profit, right? But if you sell whenever it's not a trend, then you might get lost cut many times. And that's why trend follow is very important, because this is like you're following the flow of the river, right? You don't want to go against the wind or the river flow, but you want to go along with the flow, so that you don't have to take much energy to make the profit most out from the market, right? So that's what I mean by time efficiency. So yeah, so anyways, right, so right now this is flat, right? Flat Kumo and flat Kijun Sen. So this is no trend, right? GBP USD 4-hour chart became no trend. And if you look at the daily chart, right, Kumo is like very flat, right? Kumo is flat, there's no angle, there's no length of the Kumo, right? This is up Kumo. This dark gray is the up Kumo, but this is flat, right? Kumo itself is flat. So we cannot really take trades based on the daily chart by looking at the Kumo itself. Alright, so instead of focusing on this one to look for the buying or selling edges, we better look at different time frames or different pairs where there's a trend in the market. Okay, so let's take a look at the GBP/JPY 4-hour chart. So we were looking at the 1-hour chart, but let's take a look at the 4. And yesterday I said there was a downtrend because the Senko span B was moving down, Senko span A was moving down, and Kijun Sen was all moving down. So that's why I said it was downtrend in 4. But if you can see right now, this is flat Kumo, right? The Kumo became flat. I mean, technically, I think this is still downtrend. Like Senko span B is flat, but Senko span A is still going down, and Kijun Sen looks to be a little bit downwards. Yeah, like a couple of minutes ago, minutes ago when I saw it, everything was flat now. But now I can say that Senko span A is sloping downwards. So let me take it back, and this is still downtrend technically. So GJ, I think to me, 4-hour chart is still downtrend, right? Is it clear? This is so visual and very powerful, right? It's very powerful. So the price might be, because the price, I mean the Kumo itself is going down, the price might be stopped here by this Kijun Sen, and it might go downwards from here too. And this is one thing that we can expect by looking at the Kumo. So we can still look for the sell chance, because this is still downtrend, right? And we can also draw a trend line like this way, right, all the way to the upside, right? We can draw a trend line, and yeah, so there is a little bit more room for the price to come upwards to this way, but overall this is still downtrend. And ever since the Kumo twisted here, right, right, which was happening exactly like in this area, this was moving down, so this is still downtrend, right? But you know, as you can see, right, where the Kumo becomes thinner, right? I mean, that when Senko span A is retracing, you don't want to take trades, because that's when the market retracing while downtrend. So like I said earlier, right, you can just place wherever you want to place a sell as long as you follow the trend, but it doesn't mean that your risk to the ratio is going to be greater. You have to spot exactly when the trend is and when the trend is stopping by looking at the Senko span A and also Kijun Sen, right? So these three lines are very important: Senko span B and Senko span A, and the Kijun Sen are very important lines to look at to capture a trend. And that's why these three lines are included in this case trading strategy. Okay. So yeah, so what's happening right now is, again, the Senko span B is flat, but the Senko span A is going down. So we can say that this is continuous downtrend. All right. All right, all clear, right? That's great. Great to hear that. Absolutely clear. All right. That's great. Okay. Okay, so we can enter a sell on GJ. So we can start to look for the selling edges on GJ. Yeah, we can already take trade based on the forward chart. I usually look at the smaller time frames, and I use these tools and indicators to capture the trading edges, which I will also talk about in my future lives. But yeah, today I am just focusing on this Kumo itself, because this is the primary condition. That's very important to remember first. Okay, so let's take a look at the gold, because it's spiking down right now. So let's take a look at the gold right now. And I said yesterday the daily chart, forward chart were uptrend. So let's take a look at the daily chart first. Right, in this daily chart, right, the Senko span B is moving up and Senko span A is moving up. Right, so this is up Kumo and this is still trending upwards. Right, so based on the daily chart, this is uptrend. So it's remained unchanged. So that's why I just put daily chart is uptrend. Right, and so this is going upwards right now. And we can see that the Kumo is thick enough, right? The Kumo is very thick. So I can say that this momentum is stably bullish right now in daily chart. But let's take a look at the forward chart, right? In forward chart, the situation is a little bit changing. Right now, the Senko span B is flat, but Senko span A is going up right now. And Kijun Sen is flat. Yeah. And again, when I looked at this chart like a couple of minutes ago, the Senko span A was flat. And that's why I said that this is changed, but I can say that Senko span A is still moving up, right? So this is up Kumo, right? This is up Kumo. But another important point is that the Kijun Sen angle. And when you say Kijun Sen, the green one, Kijun Sen is flat. This is still consolidating, right? The market is still consolidating, and we better wait for the Kijun Sen to move up to look for the buy chance. And it looks like right now the price has been touching this Kijun Sen and looks to be supported by the Kijun Sen. So we just wait for the candle close on this one, and if it ends up with like a wick pointing downwards and looking like a pin bar like this way, then that will also confirm me to look for another buy chance later on. So yeah, in that sense, right, let's just wait for the candle close on this one, and if it ends up with the pin bar and the next candle formation, right, after the next candle formation, let's just wait for the Kijun Sen to move up and start to look for the buying edges. All right, so yeah, but coming back to the topic on Kumo here, this is up Kumo, right? Ever since it twisted, initially it was flat, but afterwards The Kumo went up first, and now it's going up. And also it's gaining its thickness, right? It's gaining its thickness. It was thin before. So it was about to be twisted to bearish Kumo. But it didn't. But instead it kept going up, and it's gaining thickness right now. Right now the Kumo is very thick. So I think the uptrend is still continuous by looking at this Kumo here. All right. Okay. I absolutely agree. All right. Good to hear that. All right. So this is like a visual information. So you don't have to think about all the calculations, all the numbers, how many candles shifting forwards or things like that. Right. I just try to show it visually here in how I look at these Kumo formations. Perfect for the mindset. Yeah. So, and this is exactly how you can be patient, right? How you can be patient, because every time, right? You've heard like so many times, patience is the key in success in forex trading or stock tradings. And so the point is that you can be patient if you know until when you have to wait, right? Like let's say you go to the restaurant, and if you order something, and if you wait for like 5 minutes, or if you wait for like 2 minutes only, would you be impatient? No, right? Because you know that the food will served in about like 10 minutes. So you can be patient for the 10 minutes. But if you start to wait for like 10 minutes or more than 10 minutes, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, then you get frustrated because you know that the food is late, very late, right? 30 minutes of late, right? You have to, argue. You have to make a claim to the server, right? So same as forex, same as stock trading, right? So until when is important, so that you can be patient. So by looking at the Kumo, right, you can be patient, or by looking at this Kijun-sen angle, you can be patient because you can buy when Kijun-sen goes upwards. But until then, let's just forget about the market, right? Because we know Kijun-sen will go up. I mean, it might go up, it might go horizontal for a couple of more minutes to hours, right? That part we never know. But at least we know that when Kijun-sen starts to move up again, we can start to look for the buy chance. And until then, let's just wait for the market, right? And that's how we can be patient to the market. Because by looking at the Kumo, Senko span A and B, and Kijun-sen, we can visually know exactly when the trend is happening, when it's ending, and when it's retracing backwards, things like that. Right, so again, by looking at this GBP/USD right now, it's going down. Right, the Kumo is still flat. Right, Senko span B is flat, and Senko span A is flat, and Kijun-sen is flat. Right, so that means you don't have to look for the selling edges right now. You don't have to look for the selling edges because everything's flat. Right, so you can be patient, right? You can be patient until either Senko span A go downwards or Kijun-sen go downwards. You can watch movies, or you can read books, or you can have fun with your dogs or families, right? And that's what I do. And if it goes upwards, right, and if the price goes upwards and keeps going up, then oh well, right? We better look at other pairs and find similar setups, right, based on the Kumo and Kijun-sen. So if you know until when you have to wait, you can be patient. But if you don't know until when you have to wait, you will be impatient, right? And Kumo angle is going to be a great help for you to be patient. And that's what actually Goichi Hoso said, right? He said, be patient, right? And surrender to the market is a very important point to success in the long term. All right. So yeah, so again, right, whenever you start to look at the trend, the market, to capture a trend, first look at the Kumo, right? If you are using Ichimoku, Kinko Hyo, then look at the Kumo and look at its shape, right? Just look at its shape, whether it's it's long enough, right? The length is long enough, and it should be going down, right? And also it's thick enough, right? Just focus on these three parts only visually, and then you can forward to the next question, which I talked about yesterday or the day before. I talked about Senko Span B. Yeah, sorry, I think it was on Friday, sorry. But yeah, on my previous live, I talked about this one. And also, I will talk about the Senko Span A too, and also the Kijun-sen angles too in my future lives. And I will talk about which time frame to take trades, and also what indicators to use to take an entry or exit, and also exactly when to place a stop loss, when to exactly put the break even, and also my exit strategies too. I will talk about my exit timing strategies based on my own experience in my future lives, so that you can fully understand what I'm saying every time I talk about the Forex market, and or every time whenever I talk about my positions. Right, I will refer to this PDF, and I will point out exactly which one I took. So sometimes I take like a Kumo bounce, right, Kijun-sen bounce, and like I see pin bar, and I see like a kind of trend line and took trade. Or sometimes I take a doji candlestick breakout, and also I saw the counter trend line, and also gold cross of stochastics, and I took a buy, things like that. So I don't really take one single confirmation to take trades. I usually try to look for multiple confirmations to take a buy or sell in smaller time frames, in 15 or 5. But to be able to identify the trading edges, first of all, you have to confirm a trend in bigger time frame, middle time frame. Then you can finally start to look at the smaller time frames to capture the trading edges. And that's the whole idea of this KTS, right? Case trading strategy. And you will learn more and more strategies as I keep joining on my future lives. Alright, so and this PDF will be available anytime soon. Hopefully this is going to be available sometime in 1 or 2 days, hopefully. This is actually almost ended, but just a little bit of refinements I have to make. But yeah, so be patient, right? Be patient, please, because this is coming. This is coming, and yeah, you can just look forward to it, right? Okay, okay. Patience is the key, right? Patience is the key, exactly. And K is patience, all right? K is patience. I have no patience. Okay, okay. So you have to. Probably you can just sometimes forget about the market, right? You can just shut down the PC and do something else. Yep. All right. So is Senko Span B slope plus Kijun-sen slope, or Senko Span B plus Senko Span A slope? So I think that will be the next topic on my next live. So today I only talk about this part, right? Only talk about this part as a starting point. Whenever you try to see the market and you whenever try to capture trend, this is going to be the first point to look at. And so let's say if you once you confirm the angle, length and thickness of the Kumo, right? So let's say you confirm the angle, length and thickness of the Kumo, and then you start to look at the Senko Span B, whether it's moving up or down. And when you see Senko Span B to be moving down, right, in that case, you can instantly look for the Kijun-sen angle. but sometimes Senko span B becomes flat, right? Sometimes Senko span B becomes flat, and in that case, you better look at Senko span A angle. So right now, Senko span B is flat, right? So we better look at the Senko span A angle, and it should be going down to move on to the next question. But right now, Senko span A is flat, so that's why you better stay away. Although you see the Kumo is moving down, and the angle is steep enough, and the thickness thick enough, right? And it's long enough. You have to be patient, right? Again, be patient and stay away from the market because Senko span A is not really going down right now, right? And that's what it means here. That's what it means by this flow chart. So it's either Senko span B going down or up, and if not, then Senko span A should be going up or down. And finally, you look at the Kijun Sen angle, which I will talk about in my future lives. All right, and all these, by the way, all these live streams are actually uploaded on the archives, and I created the K's trading strategy playlist, so you can actually look at all my past live streams, based on this KTS strategy. Okay, and sometimes I edit my videos, my past lives, and I edit it and I upload it as a new video, so you can also recap on what I was talking about on my past lives. Because usually I do lives every day, and I usually do it for about 1 hour long, 1.5 hour long, and it might be difficult to look for what I was saying in the past, but I keep doing the lives every day. So yeah, and that's why I started to create the K's trading strategy playlist, where I only talk about how I actually capture the trend based on the Kumo and Kijun Sen, right? And also how I look at the market based on this Ichimoku Kinko Hyo. And whenever I take trades, I refer to this page, right? I refer to this page, and I will let you know exactly on which strategies I took to take that buy or sell. I will let you know, and I will cover everything up, right, in my future lives. So all these are going to be for free, of course, right? I will teach all these for free for everyone. So I wish you can keep following my YouTube channel and take out, right, the most from my YouTube channels in the future. All right, because on one side I am one single Forex trader, right, whose main source of income is only Forex trading, and that's me, right? That's me, K. So I look at Ichimoku, and I know Ichimoku Kinko Hyo because I have studied, right, based on this original book of Goichi Hosoda, right? I've read all these volumes of Goichi Hosoda's original books, and I learned about it. And also I have my own experience based on my past history here as a Forex trader. I have been taking trades, right? So that's why, right, on one side I am a trader K, but on the other side I am a Ichimoku, like a Ichimoku master, right? if you can call it, because I'm from Japan. I read original book, and I can give you more detailed knowledge in it, based on my experience about Ichimoku Kinko Hyo. So that's why I created what I call the Ichimoku Basic Master Book, which is available in the Ichimoku community here. And also, oh, by the way, I created a new page for Ichimoku community, like here. So if you can come to my website and click on this services and Ichimoku community, you will see all the details about the Ichimoku community here. What's inside, what you can expect, and what kind of books I wrote, right? And yeah, all the products that you can expect. I put all these informations here. So yeah, you can come to this web page and enjoy the contents of what I'm doing on this Ichimoku community.